What is something you learned during that time period of college making videos?
The biggest thing was messy action. I had this weird moment where I was like, you just have to push forward. Nothing will ever be perfect. Perfect is completely made up, but you can control showing up and trying to do the things that you want to do.
Senior year, they started hiring me for freelance work. And I was like, oh my God, I can like make money making videos. And I was grappling with so hard, like, should I try to get a job? I was interviewing with like Google. And then I remember emailing the Google people and be like, I'm going to move to LA and try to make videos. Sorry. I would just even lean in more. My gut was telling me you're going to make videos and you'll love it. So just lean into that, lean into the desire.
What I wanted to do wasn't being represented in like my content online. And it took me a while to realize I got to pivot and I got to bring what I'm doing in like my actual freelance work into my content online. And then I started getting certain gigs and like that kind of changed a lot for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 130 of the 505 podcast. Let's get this one-handed crack, dude. I'm so ready.
Oh, missed the tab on the first one.
Did I miss the tab? I was doing a no look.
That was really good though.
I was doing a no look.
Oh,
you keep going with that weird fast thing.
Concave in there, but I crushed. Did you see the
That was pretty good.
explosion of
That's
thing?
not from you?
I don't see a dent anywhere.
All right, here we go.
Oh, shit.
I see a dent. 4-9 for Chase.
That was there.
Okay, I'm seeing yours. This one really would matter. This is one of your best. Oh my God.
You guys got
messed
me.
it up with that.
What are you giving them?
Splash, but no dent, which is good for your boy.
Like a 5-9.
So you guys are giving me prebiotic tea, trying to tell me something about my farts or something? Dude.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we just had those two left. And
Do we have hot girl stomachs?
Dude, I actually have like pretty solid stomach lately. I've been like able to eat anything, just no smelly farts or anything.
You're
dude.
doing the gluten pill thing.
I ripped the gluten pill, Plan G, dude.
Gee.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it.
Nice.
I kind of want to start. No one take this idea. I'll freak out. Honestly, I wasn't even supposed to talk about Plan G on the podcast.
Buy the domain.
I should buy the domain, mostly because I don't want people to buy the pill that I'm buying and then like everyone's eating gluten and I can't get the pill anymore. But I was thinking about like how funny would it be? Oh, this is so controversial. I'm going to say it, you might want to cut it, who knows. But like marketing materials, right? And it's like through history, people have been eating bread with Plan G. And it's like the Last Supper, you know, and they like are breaking bread and then there's like Jesus holding like a Plan G little pill. Like, dude, I could sell this shit at Erewhon for so much money.
Could work.
Little fun marketing campaign.
play.
It's been
Good
like
play.
my little pet project on the side.
How often are you eating gluten on a weekly
Once
basis?
a day, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sourdough.
So you're popping up
love it.
Plan G every day?
Every day, dude.
Nice. That's fun.
Keep going, dude. Yeah, I want to come up with like Plan G, AM, PM, extended release.
All the above.
You know, yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I wish I had it in college, bro. I would have rushed a frat because I could have had beer, dude.
I tried to get Chase to rush SAE with me, and he just wasn't about it.
Couldn't drink beer. Also had too many friends already.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
was-
Exactly. You don't have to buy any.
I bought all my friends.
It happens.
Yeah, dude.
Happens to the best of us. Oregon had an insane weekend,
Speaking
though.
of college.
Johnny Hochstetler, dude. How's
Yeah.
that feel? Taste that shit.
Right, dude.
You know that he's been losing sleep these last few days. They moved down the rankings, too. I could not imagine
He's
not
gonna
being
have-
top 3.
He's going to have the yips about sliding.
For sure.
Like, he's just going to think every time I bet he's just dreaming about sliding.
Yeah.
Because if he just goes down knees and
It's over.
hits a quick
We
timeout.
lose. I was sitting here
I can't
saying,
believe he screwed
I was
it up.
with Kostas and I go, we lost the game. That's it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
done. We're and the pass interference I was like, yeah, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. And we somehow, like Oregon Duck fashion, we come out on top.
Yeah, they do win those stupid fucking games. Sorry.
It was
The
a
best games.
It was a really good game.
You know who also
One
won?
of the best
Badgers?
college
It's no
football.
big deal.
Really?
I crushed them, dude.
Really? Did
Yeah.
you guys play like a Division 4 team?
No, we played a
Rutgers.
Big Ten team, dude. Rutgers.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how that shit goes. Dude, we put up 90 something points over the past 2 weeks, dude. We've been scoring, dude. But yeah, the Ducks look great. Do you ever wish you were filming them when they were like this fucking good?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah, I
wish
bet.
that I had the opportunity
Just go
to
back,
do what
dude.
these kids are doing right
Wait,
now.
you know how like
Should we go back?
you know how like they take like an NFL quarterback and then they like disguise him and he's like an assistant coach on like his
That
high
for the
school
video
team?
team?
How funny would that be, dude?
For like a mustache.
And then you take it all off and it's like, who's that guy?
they're like, I don't know who this dude
Yeah,
is.
he's pretty good at
BFIGGY.
filming stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Be thick.
I want to go back to that time period.
Yeah,
This is
tell me about
this
it.
is going to be a fun pod because I feel like we have a lot of new rocks that have recently joined the crew, and we want to give you a little bit of our backstory today and kind of how we got into doing this content creation stuff, filmmaking, photography, and some advice for us as we went on these journeys.
I will also say that our stories are I know are 3 years later than they were, you know, when we thought about them last time on this podcast. So I feel like it's actually significantly, you know, probably different.
I feel like a ton has changed. Chase used to live with us when we filmed that
Sure
first
did.
pod.
I had no facial hair probably.
You had no facial hair.
The only white background was ugly.
Different mic?
Different mic. You really liked that first mic.
I did like that mic.
That was your mic,
That was
dude.
cheap, dude. I do this thing where I just convince myself the cheap thing's better than the expensive thing because I don't want to spend the money.
You've come a long way though.
You have.
I spend money now, dude. Look at this Madewell sweater, bro.
Oh,
Come on. You're not cheaping out anymore.
MX5s, dude.
Oh, come
What
on.
was the price tag on that?
I was like, not cheap, bro.
How much money you got in your bank account?
Like so much money. Really, just a really average amount of money.
Did you start shooting in college or before?
I started in college.
Nice.
No.
Like, what caused you to want to pick up a camera?
It was my senior year of high school when I graduated. I remember I was sitting at home and this dude, Mike Chang, Six Pack Shortcuts guy. Okay.
Nice.
Do you remember these ads?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude. I got hit with every ad from Mike. It just hit me every day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I get it. I don't have a six pack and I want one really badly. And that's why I'm watching every single one of these ads trying to understand how you have this insane six pack.
Yep.
Anyways, I watch his stuff and I'm like, I need to get in the gym. I want to be fit before I go into college. And I was always a little rock in high school. My dad's not very big. And I was like, I'm just going to be stuck being a little rock. This is like my fate. And I met this kid and he's like, you can do it. Like, you just got to go work out. It's going to be awful, but you can do it. I'm like, okay. So start watching YouTube videos, find Christian Guzman. And he has these long, like 40-minute tutorials. And so I would just go and I would wear a hoodie and sweats because I was so self-conscious about being like the little rock in the gym. It's funny because I now only wear hoodies and sweats to the gym.
Yeah.
But
it's a pump cover.
it's
now.
a pump cover now,
Right.
you know? So I'd set up my phone on the machines and I would put the brightness down really low. And then I would just do the workout that he was doing. And 2 months into that summer, right before we went off to school, I went from being 130 to 180 in that 2 month.
Steroids
Dude,
hit.
it's
Yeah,
so funny
no,
that we asked
no.
Brayden about like picking up cameras,
No.
you know, really do our podcast,
Whoa.
and he just wants to talk about getting swole.
No. We're going to.
You wouldn't believe that. You wouldn't believe how ripped I got, dude. Anyways, what are we talking about?
40 pounds, dude. No, anyways. I'm sorry. I keep doing the flag on the play thing.
Oh, you call flag?
Call to flag. It is going to be for Motion Array this week because they dropped a crazy new feature for the rocks.
What is it?
Dude,
Listen,
I know
just
so much
listen,
about this
just
tool.
listen.
It's crazy how much I know about it, actually. I'm so excited.
What's going on, rocks?
That is Motion Array's new AI voiceover tool, and you can use it for anything, dude.
It's fun, too, because there's so many voices.
So many voices.
I was scrolling, and I just kept scrolling, dude. I
days.
got overwhelmed. There's one that's like a southern drawl, you know. He kind of sounds like he's like Knives Out. He's like, I do declare, which is pretty fun.
Love
There's
that.
like a fairy tale lady. There's a lot of British accents. And then there's a lot of like just your normal, like kind of hype, like commercial guy that's not like too movie trailer, but like kind of natural. Like it's really good. You can play with speed of thing where it doesn't speed up their like voice, so it doesn't change pitch, but he does say it faster, which is really nice. And you can change different emotions, so you can say angry,
Ooh, the emotions is
sad,
good.
optimistic, surprised, dude. It's really helpful. It really changes how you work with it.
Got a good thing
I,
going.
Yeah, I think that this is an amazing tool for you guys to have in your videos. One, maybe you don't like to voice over your own stuff, or two, maybe you have a commercial spot you need a great voiceover for, dude. Not to mention just the voiceover feature, but they got sound effects, they got music, they got stock footage, motion graphics, motion array. They got it all, dude. First link in the description. Check out Motion Array. Let's get back into the pod. I found that YouTuber. I found Christian. I was like, I want to do this for other dudes or other, like, I don't think girls at that time. I was like, this is all I know, right?
Yeah, right,
This is all I know. So I started making YouTube videos at school, and I remember once I got there, we started the YouTube channel, and it was off a MacBook Pro front camera. That was the
photo
first
booth?
photo booth. That was the first ever video. Cut it in iMovie, upload it, and nothing happened. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
sure.
Nothing happened at all. No one saw it, really. A few hundred people saw it. And it was like this opening, though, to all of the stuff that we're doing now, which is kind of wild to like
Right.
look back on. And what I would do is I'd watch Christian's editor. His name was Nabil. I would download his videos off their YouTube channel. I put them in 0.25 speed in Premiere, and then I would scrub them and I'd time them on my phone on the stopwatch. So I learned how fast he was cutting, and I was like, this is someone that's great. Obviously, they're getting hundreds of thousands of views every week. I need to make videos like this, and then maybe one day a brand would pay me to kind of do that. And that first year was just YouTube video every week. Every single week, it was like some sort of fitness, all fitness stuff though. And that was where the community kind of began, because at Oregon, there wasn't really anyone doing fitness YouTube stuff, at least that I knew of. And I found these kids online. You know what's funny? You know who's one of those kids? Amon Ghazi was one of those kids in this group chat. There was like 10 of us.
Crazy.
It was so wild to think back that time. But there was about 10 of us in this group chat on, I believe it was on Facebook, and we would send our videos and we'd comment on each other's stuff. We would like share it. And it's just crazy to see. I'm not in touch with any of that OG crew, but I saw one of them the other day when I was filming something I was in LA shooting that concert, and he comes up to me and I was like, oh my God, this is like the weirdest flash forward moment. And he's like, you're doing the damn thing with the camera. And I'm like, this is so weird.
Was he still making vids?
No, he doesn't make vids anymore. He was in sales, but
couldn't handle the heat, huh?
No, he was cool. He was a really nice kid. We talked for like 15 minutes of the shoot. And it's just funny though to see like the double down of like, we started at the same time. He didn't stay into it, but I was like, this is going to be a thing. I'm betting on this being a thing. And luckily ended up getting a job at the U of O, did all their stuff for 2 years, like football, basketball, softball, baseball, acro, you name it. If it was a sport, we were filming it. And that's where I met our new roommate, Sharif. That's where I met Adam Simmons. That's where I met all these ducks, Henry, the XX guy. And we were just like these camera content creator dudes that I felt like at that time we were ahead of that curve of like, we're doing this thing. We don't know what the hell we're doing. We all suck, but you know, and you get around all those creative kids and everyone started to get better. I feel like everyone started to get better. What's the word I'm looking for? Not progressively.
Compound.
Yeah, but what's that word?
No, it's collectively.
No.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Exponentially.
Oh, that's what you're looking for?
Yeah, we
all just done this, dude.
Just the curve.
Yeah.
We were starting to get exponentially better, and that was the start of like all of the stuff that we're doing with cameras in our hands. It was pretty wild.
What if we do? No, I kind of like.
Have questions for me.
No, I was just thinking about the flow of the podcast. Does it make sense for you to go from butts and like start to where you are now, or does it make sense for you to get to like there? Yeah. And then I get to like there, and then he gets to like there, and then you get from like college to now.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a movie. I feel like it'd be like done that way.
Yeah, I feel like we go from. I like that. Okay.
Does that make sense, or is it no?
All right, and we figured out the flow of the podcast. And Brayden, quick question for you: what is something you learned during that time period of college making videos?
I think that the biggest thing was messy action. I'm stealing this from Chloe because she said it the other day and I really liked it.
Oh, okay.
I have, for those of you that don't know, I used to have very heavy OCD and still have pretty good ACD or ACDC. No, I have, for those of you that don't know, I had OCD very heavily when I was a kid and I still have ADD, but the OCD was so bad that if someone stepped on a pair of white Vans, I couldn't wear them anymore. Like, I just couldn't do it. If I had something like a binder for school and it got crinkled or something, it would be thrown away. And it was driving my mom nuts. And we didn't even know what OCD was at the time. She's just like, this kid is nuts, dude. He like can't keep stuff, has to be perfect. And now I had this weird moment where I was like, you just have to push forward. Like nothing will ever be perfect. It's made up. Perfect is completely made up, but you can control showing up and trying to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what age that was, but that's the approach that I took to the camera stuff with all of it. I wasn't good at all. No one was watching the videos, but all I could control was showing up. And if I was happy with them, that's all that mattered. I was just like, let me just post this. Doesn't matter if it gets 100 views or 5 views. I'm just going to post it. We'll see who resonates with it. And those first few people that were commenting, my God, if you're someone that watches people's YouTube videos and maybe they don't have a lot of views, maybe it's this podcast, you want to help the boys out a little bit, comment on their stuff, like their stuff, because I vividly remember these like 3 to 5 people, they'd get 20 views and there's these 3 to 5 people that were like, nice workout video.
Yeah.
Like, yes, dude. Yeah. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have comments to respond to. And I respond to every single one of those. I still try to respond to all the comments because I just think back to that time period and how grateful I was to those 2 to 3, 5 people at absolute maximum that would be like, take time out of their day to let you know that they liked your stuff. And messy action I couldn't even put words to it. And then Chloe said, I was like, oh my God, feel like that's my life. Like, that is what I've been trying to encapsulate in like everything that I do. It's even with the podcast, like our set sucked, our mics weren't all the same, but it was messy action. You started the damn thing. Yeah. You posted one and then you look up in 3 years and maybe you'll have a real show. What's
interesting about what you were saying, because I think I struggle with this as well, of like perfection kind of getting in the way of maybe putting something out? You good?
I just spilled everything. I'm fine.
Like what
Messy action, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just really trying to
brand.
go for the brand.
Like what you think is perfect at this moment is not what you're going to think is perfect down the line. Like a perfect video in quotes to you in college, now you would look at it and like rip it apart.
Totally.
Right.
Your taste changes, what you like changes. And that's the hard thing about like the perfectionism is what you think is perfect now, I guarantee you, as you continue to improve, is not going to be quote unquote perfect 5-10 years down the line.
I also feel like video, especially editing, is like a great exercise to get over that, because you can tinker with an edit forever. Like it could never be, like you could say this will never be done. Like you could always be changed. Oh, like, what if it was framed one way to like to the left, or like maybe, you know, like you just at one point have to say pencils down, I'm done with it. And it's never going to be perfect, even in your mind, ever.
Totally.
And so like it's such a good exercise for you as a kid to like have to go through that, because like you would just have to satisfy yourself. I feel like
it drive me nuts, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like actually debilitating. And I'm sure some of you might have this, like this thing, might have OCD, and you're like, that's exact. It feels like you're frozen and you can't do anything unless that thing is in your mind how it should be. And then you realize it's never going to be how it should be.
Yeah.
And I feel like that weird, that weird internal battle, I was like, okay, I finally won. I can like live again, and I can like rejoin everybody doing stuff, you know?
I feel like it's funny that we've become friends and like make stuff together, because so I grew up, you know, I still have it, but even worse, probably had really bad ADHD, still do. And I was opposite of you, where I started off just shitty was fine. Shitty was good enough, dude, all the time. Nothing was close to perfect, and I didn't even try to make it perfect. And now, as my career has progressed, I've finally gotten like more comfortable with pursuing more refined details and shit. And it's funny, like, and I've had to force myself to go that way, where I was fine with just throwing out junk. And now I've forced myself to like, hey, let's revise it. Like, let's actually get that mask like right on the edge. And like, even though it's like kind of close, like people notice, but like, who cares? Like that was always my thought. And now I'm kind of like becoming more and more interested with actually trying to make something kind of perfect.
Did you pick up the camera from a very young age?
I had when I got an iPod Touch.
That was the beginning of it all?
Yeah, I think I was in like 7th grade. I got Camera Plus app, and that was just photography. And then in 9th grade, I met my friends. We became like a little mini friend group because we moved to high school at that point. It was my friend Dan, who was like just years beyond his age, and he had like a T5i, and he was really into videos. He showed me Make It Count by Casey Neistat. He showed me like all sorts of cool stuff. Like he was just into like, he edited on Sony Vegas when that was a thing. He was just like into that shit ahead of his time. It was him. It was me. My friend Patrick, who was like Pecan. He does all the crazy drone shit. I was just in the helicopter with him. And then
insane
Jay, who does the insane helicopter shit or drone pilot shit.
You were around Birdman.
Well, I was around Birdman, just growing up making videos together. And it was funny because at that point it was just focused basically on longboarding. And so the first video I made was shot on like I think it was like my brother's iPhone 4 or whatever. And I don't even know what it was, but I was really into like loaded longboard videos. They made the coolest fucking videos. And so it was like me, and I wanted it to be like slow. I don't know why, I just, inside me, my first video, I was like, I just want to be like naturey and slow, which I still feel like that, which is funny enough. But it was just like me longboarding with like pretty locked off shots and like naturey sound design, which I just stole from these loaded longboarding videos. It's like kind of how they did them. I think the song was like Breakdown by Jack Johnson, which is like sad and not a longboarding song at all. But I remember editing that, and it was the editing that I was like, oh, this is like unbelievable. I was just like the first time I'd hyper focused with my ADHD.
Because you can get lost in the sauce.
I was so deep in it, and I was so locked that like I was like, oh my god, I haven't like eaten or anything. And then I was just like, that's like a drug. And then I would just want to edit stuff. I wish I had footage that I could cut. I remember feeling that all the time. And then we as a friend group kind of would make a lot of longboard videos, and that was kind of a thing that we do. Jay and Patrick got really into like flying drones, like early drones, which was cool. But I was more just like, I wanted to just like think about how it should like feel and stuff, because I was like that. And then basically from there went to college and wanted to get a marketing degree from Wisconsin, because both my brothers did, but I'd always like loved making videos and shit. And then I remember I just like gave myself the freedom to go to like one of like the intro to production classes at Wisconsin where I met Kostas, rock and roll. He was growing a man bun. I was growing a man bun. And I went to the, I swear to God, that's how we bonded. Dude.
Mine was like a top knot where I like had the fade on the side.
His was like trendy. Mine was just long.
No, but mine did not look good. Like should not have done.
You
it.
thought that was tough?
Of course.
Of course,
dude. I tried to do it too.
You think I'd grow it out and be like, nah, this is weak?
Yeah.
I tried to do it too.
Yeah, dude, why not?
I gave up.
I went for it, dude.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I could only get like a part of it in though. I could never do the whole hair knot.
Yeah. I mean, I would struggle with that pretty hard.
I gave up.
I mean, I feel you. But
I just look like Pikachu.
Yeah. I remember I went to that class. I went straight from that class to the guidance counselor and said, I need to major in both. I need to do marketing and I need to do film at the same. I was so like high. Like after that class, I was like, I need to figure out how to do both. And he's like, okay, you're gonna have to like take a lot of classes, but like you can do it. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it. So then I did, and yeah, I just made a lot of videos in college, but it was like I didn't really have like you had like creator friends in college. I didn't really have that. I had my roommates who were like my best friends and like still are to this day. Well, I had you, but we didn't make a lot of videos together.
You didn't have anybody.
Yeah, I didn't have any. No one that was good, you know. But they were like so into like movies and like taste and stuff, so they'd still like give me a lot of video ideas, but like didn't know anything about cameras or editing. But a lot of times we would like come up with a silly idea, make it, and I'd just be like in my room, we'd be like drinking whiskey and just like editing and laughing our asses off. You know what I mean? Like they'd be behind me and I'd just be like cutting. And yeah, and that just stirred in me. And then I remember just grappling with it senior year so hard because I'd done business internships and stuff like that. And I'd done a business internship my junior year summer where they hired me to be a marketing intern because like I thought that's what I should do. And I didn't really think I'd ever actually make money making videos. But then they were like, look, we actually saw like, because I sent them like my website or whatever that had like videos on it. And they're like, we need you to like make this video. We outsourced it to this guy. He charges like a ton of money. He's like, could you make it? And then I did that at my internship. That was like all I did, was just like make a corporate video that like I would still make today, honestly. And then after that, senior year, they started hiring me for freelance work. And I was like, oh my God, I can like make money making videos. And I was grappling with it so hard. Like, should I try to get a job at like, I was interviewing with like Google and like that kind of business stuff. And then I remember emailing the Google people and be like, I'm going to move to LA and try to make videos. Sorry, or something like that. Yeah. And then, but I was so stuck, dude. Every night I'd be like, should I do this or should I try to make videos? I was so stuck. And then I just sent it eventually.
Wow. Yeah. Isn't that crazy to look back on now? And you were also at Wisconsin.
Sure was.
I was at Wisconsin. And when we went to Wisconsin, I mean, we were talking about sports earlier, but
right.
We had a pretty good run with basketball.
And football, dude. We were undefeated our senior year, bro. We lost to Ohio State. I get that you beat them. Fuck off. Ohio State or my senior year, you were graduated, but we were undefeated, dude. We were good, man. Rose Bowls and shit.
Okay, during your college time, Fig shared his kind of like piece of advice.
Yeah, I jumped you on that. I'm sorry. Yeah, what's one thing to college rock, Chase, you would say?
I would just even lean in more because every sign was telling me you fucking love this shit. That was all I wanted to do. It was like the classes were my favorite shit. I wouldn't even bother going to class. I don't think I skipped a single one of those filmmaking classes. Like they were so fun. But I still was very hesitant about like, okay, is this actually going to be a job? I don't think I made a lot of videos in college because I was like, it's just kind of like a hobby. Like I should be focusing on like classes and like getting marketing shit. So I just still fucking trust what's in your gut because my gut was telling me you're going to make videos and you'll love it, you know? So just lean into that. Lean into the desire.
I had that same, sorry to cut you off before you go into your thing, but same thing where I was in human physiology and I sucked at it. And I'm like, this is the route though. And I'm supposed to make money with this. And everyone's like, you got to support your family. Right. Remember, dude, why did everyone say that? I don't know if they said that to you guys, but they'd be like, you got to support your family one day. Right. The camera stuff will never support that.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird thing at the time because it wasn't widely like adopted. I feel like the idea of a creator getting paid by a brand was still so new, and I didn't even know that was a thing. Right. I thought they were just Nike just calls them up and goes, hey, take the shoe. I didn't realize people were getting paid to do that whole thing. And then you see like Casey's video. I'm like, Nike just called him to make a video. That's so cool. Not realizing that this is a whole industry and it's like emerging as we are in college and that this is going to be a billion dollar, multi-billion dollar thing as we get out of school. 100%. It's just so weird to like look back on. I mean,
going off that, and something I should have fucking put in my story is that Kostas showed me a Jay Alvarrez video my sophomore year of college in the Memorial Library. I'll never forget it. And I was like, I think we were like standing. Like we started and I was like, oh, like what is this? Like this dude just like with this hot chick and like the shots are dope. Like we were going nuts. I was like, I can't believe you just showed me that. I was like, it was like crack. I was like, people are going to do that for a life. Like that's going to be his job, dude. I'm like, that is so fucking cool. And yeah, that really, I mean, that like, cause I didn't think that like people like that were doing it. I don't know, it just blew my mind and that was sick, dude. Good moment. Good stuff.
Yeah, Jay Alvarez, Sam Colder,
yeah,
Casey Neistat. I'd say for me, those were like my three.
The big three.
The big three for your boy. But yeah, for me, it kind of goes all the way back to 8th grade because I took an elective class in middle school called Student TV.
Nice.
And you would just have to kind of like make a video that would be shown during homeroom like every week. And that was when I like first got introduced to like a camera and how to edit. And I remember we made videos about like all different sorts of things. It was like we would get to pull kids out of class, and like if you got pulled out of class as a student for Student TV, you'd be like so hyped because you're like, I'm gonna be on like these videos.
I'll be on TV.
And so like one of the videos was like, oh, we got this sick idea. Like one student's gonna say welcome, and then the next one's gonna say like to, and then the next one's gonna say student, and then the fourth one's gonna say TV, and we're gonna put it all together, and it's gonna say welcome to Student TV.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so sick. And then like another one I remember, we were like we figured out how to do slow motion, and so I got me and my buddy Kenny, who I played baseball with, and we were like, let's make like a fake kung fu video. And so we did it, and it was like so bad, but like the slow motion, we did like match on action, and it was so cool. And then kids at like lunch would be like, dude, freaking loved your video.
Hell yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, we got to do more of this.
Yeah.
So we made a part 2. Kids loved it. And so yeah, so got introduced to it in middle school, and then had my GoPro and like liked to skate and would kind of just always make videos for fun. And I made videos for fun for a very long time before even like I didn't really get paid for it until I graduated. I did like some freelance stuff in college, but in high school, I got introduced to social media, I think a little bit earlier than like a lot of people, because I was on the Teens React show. And then I did the summer break reality show. And from that, I was like in the social media scene in a way. It was like I was gaining a following on Twitter and Instagram through like Teens React, and then again on summer break. And because of that, I was like, I like this. I want to do more of it, but I wanted to do it where I was in front of the camera and almost do it on like the influencer side. And so when I went to college, I would make YouTube videos, and like I got teased so hard.
From dudes or girls or everybody?
From kind of everybody. Like I remember.
I thought it was tight though, for the record.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
And
I did, dude.
Thank you. And that's hilarious.
I just remember this chick being like, you friends with that guy? Like, you've seen, I was like, that guy fucks, dude. I remember thinking, being like, no, that guy rocks, dude. And like, he's going to make a lot of money on those videos. So like, shut up.
Stop making fun of my friend.
I like literally said that. I was like, right after I met you, I remember that. I was in celery. Anyways, keep
so me making videos, it almost didn't stem from like my love for like photography or cinematography and wanting to make like kind of the stuff that I want to make now, more like, I guess, art in a way. It kind of stemmed from like, let me learn how to film videos and come up with ideas to be in front of them and put them on YouTube and become like a YouTube personality and totally. Almost more on the influencer side. And yeah, had to have like thick skin and would do a few brand deals like in college. And I remember like, I specifically remember, I think I made like $1,200 or $1,500 right before I went abroad from like 2 Instagram brand deals. And I was like, 1, I'm fucking rich.
Yep.
And 2,
sure are.
And 2, I got to do more of this, because this is like, all my friends had like part-time jobs in college, like working at the bars and doing freelance photo video stuff. Some of them were, not a lot, but I was like, I'm over here fucking kind of making bands, doing this social media stuff. I got to do more of it. Did that, but didn't really do too much like freelance work throughout college. And I would say one of my pieces of advice for myself, or something I learned or wish I did, I think, was make more videos, or because I knew how to make videos and film, and I wish I would have done that for like businesses, or maybe even like done sorority videos. And even I think I found it hard at Wisconsin because being in the frat, like there was one kid, Jeremy Liebman, shout out to Jeremy. He was in my pledge class. He was like the only other kid I really felt. Chase, yes.
Thanks.
But that I was like
I was there.
All the other kids in the frat were doing like real estate or some sort of business or engineering. And I felt like it was hard for me to be in Wisconsin because I felt almost like stuck and not around other people that were like doing things that I wanted to do. I didn't exactly know like what it was specifically that I wanted to do because I graduated having literally like no plan. But I wish I would have like made more of an effort either when I was like home during summer or even at Wisconsin, because there were definitely people doing like film and photography. I wish I would have like surrounded myself with those people more.
100%, dude. So what would be, I mean, is that kind of your piece of advice? Do you have anything beyond that you want to share from that part of your journey?
I think during that time, a piece of advice I would give myself is like, you don't need permission to create. I wasn't making, videos that I wanted to because I felt like I needed permission either to get like paid for it or like someone to tell me like, hey, it's okay, like go make it.
Yeah.
You don't need permission. And I think had I known that, I would have made more of an effort to make more like spec projects or just like stuff for fun. I was doing the YouTube stuff, but I think it would have helped me in that sense of making more like ads or done more brand work, I think.
100%. I feel like something that I missed in my story that was like actually really important, but going off what you said is I kind of felt the same way where it's kind of weird, like making just like videos or like even a YouTube video. Like I was just scared I was going to get teased, I think, in college. And then when I went to study abroad, I was like, that was when Casey had just started like his daily vlogs, or maybe started like a year before, but I was like, I'm going to make a weekly vlog every week I'm abroad. And I was like, I don't know these people, like who's going to fucking care? You know what I mean? And
kind of gave you that confidence.
I came in like, I'm the vlog guy.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like a weird, like Chase is doing vlogs. And
We
I was
did
like,
the same thing
I just met
studying abroad.
Chase. He's the vlog guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Same thing.
And so I made a vlog every week. And it's actually, I feel like that's when I went from like, okay, I like this video stuff to like, I'm getting pretty fucking good at this. And I mean, I look at the first one, I'm like, this is bad. And I look at the last one, I'm like, that's not a bad video. You know, like even now I'm like, and they're all still on YouTube, by the way. But I feel like that was really pivotal. But it was because like I kind of finally gave myself the permission to make stuff like that.
Were you teased at all for this stuff? Dude, I was teased so hard.
I mean, definitely by like not my close friends. That's why I was like, I just know that no matter what I post, they'll still love me and they're not going to they'll give me shit, but like it'll be like funny.
Okay.
But like I do know that people are teasing me behind closed doors.
So did they have Yik Yak for you guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro.
It wasn't that bad. I don't think we got Yik Yak.
Bro,
I know you did.
I remember someone texted me and was like, yo, you check Yik Yak? I'm like, no, what's on it? And our channel was called Aesthetic Adventures.
Yep, great name.
And we thought that was
it.
Kind of a hard name.
Yeah, kind of
we
hard.
thought that was
Can we
tough.
bring that back?
It's actually not bad.
No, and I remember someone tweeted like, or Yik Yacked, the thing was like, has anyone seen those 3 douchebags at the gym? The Aesthetic Adventures guys? He goes, more like aesthetic assholes. And it was just like,
Dude, burn.
just like,
Burn, dude.
it hurt. And
Yeah.
the worst part was you clicked on the thread. It was just like 100 people just roasting us. And then someone was like, you guys can't keep watching. Our video is at like maybe 100 views. And overnight, it was like 3,000.
Let's go.
And I was like, oh, dude, we're going to get $3 from this video.
Yeah,
This
hell
is
yeah.
big for the program. And I was like, I can't let these fucking assholes win, dude.
Yeah.
If I quit, I let them win.
If you quit, you let them
If
win.
you quit, you let them win, dude.
Dude, that's so fucking
and
true.
it hurt. Oh,
I
it
bet.
hurt. It burned. But I was like, you just got to keep going with this, dude.
And it's kind of like a glass shattering moment where you feel like you're doing something kind of cool and you like assume other people like it and you're like, oh, other people are making fun of me. Like I never even would have thought of that.
Totally, I know.
I feel like that happens to me still. Dude. Where I'll like wear something I think is sick and Elena's like, like our friends are like making fun of it. And I was like, damn, dude.
I thought this
Fuck
hit.
your friend.
Be like my friends though.
That's so funny,
Yeah.
dude.
Going off of that, like, I think looking back and thinking back to the type of content I was making, like in college specifically, and even like somewhat after, like I wasn't being myself.
Same. I was asking for it.
Yeah, I was too.
But I also think I was kind of influenced by some of the people and like what I was seeing on YouTube at the time.
100%.
And I was like, I have to be this like larger than life personality. And I almost feel like I kind of got over that only like a few years ago. I feel like now I can sit down and talk to the camera and really just be like I'm talking to one person and I feel like it comes off as like more authentic. And looking back, I think I would have wished I could told myself like, hey, you don't gotta be someone you're not to like see success.
Right.
I think it's hard because I think that when you're younger, like you're still just trying to figure out exactly who you are, and you are easily influenced by like what you do see, you know, online or how your friends are or whatever it may be. But yeah, I wish I could have told myself like, you don't gotta be like so extra. You can kind of reel it back a little bit.
Yeah. I felt the same. I was trying to be Jay Alvarrez for like a little bit. The Instagram posts
Still,
were douchey, dude.
Still trying to be him.
Still trying to be him. So Fig, take us from where you left off. So you graduate college, and now you're here. What's up?
We graduated school.
Speaking of Jay Alvarez,
I had figured out in college junior year that I could make money with the camera. And that was like the craziest thing. One of the sororities paid me $850, first ever paid video.
Would have been
I made
life.
I made 200.
It was
I made 200
right
for my
before study
sorority
abroad too.
That's
Thought it was I was like, I'm a millionaire when we're out here. And that kind of sparked this moment of, okay, all these guys and girls are telling me I can't do it. I definitely can do it because I'm like, if I do 4 of these a month, that's like a starter salary. When you get out of school, that's what a lot of people are making. They're making anywhere from like 50, to 60K. And I'm like, this could be the realm of where I could play ball in. I can play ball with this. And when I graduated, it was, I started an LLC before I graduated because I'm like, this is going to be a business. Found a guy back home and we started this thing where it was called Page Productions.
Nice.
Page double P, we went on PP Page Productions.
Nice.
Thought that was fun. We went out to Indonesia thinking we were going to make just so much money out there that all these brands needed our content. That's what I thought. We did work for the most awful company I've ever worked for in my life. And we went into their office, pitched them. It was 85 or 9 grand. Maybe it was 10. I think it was 10,000. But yeah, it was 10 grand because I remember walking out, I'm like, we just made 10 grand. We're millionaires.
Right.
Well, this is all it is. It was for 5 videos. I'm like, 10 grand, 5 videos. We're rich, dude.
Yeah.
This is a wrap. We showed up on shoot day. That was the most awful shoot I'd ever been in. I remember the house was right next to LAX. We pitched drone stuff. Can't fly the drone, of course. It wouldn't take off next to LAX. We take the content out to Bali. We edit it. 36 rounds of revisions for each video. It was awful. By the time we got paid, we were probably working for like 3 cents an hour on this stuff. It was actually it was hell.
Yeah.
No contract on revisions. We didn't have 2 rounds or 3 rounds. We're like, we're going to be their slaves for the next year. And we were like, it was awful. Once we got out there though, I realized quickly that Bali's not as cheap if you're staying in a nice place, if you're eating at the nice restaurants. Like, it is a cheaper place to live, but you're paying like,
of course,
you're still paying $15-20 for food when you go eat out. It's not like way cheaper than
100%
than a place than any other regular place in the United States. So realize I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, I'm gonna run out of money like really quickly. And I remember calling my mom. I was freaking out, and she's like, I can give you a few $100. Like, figure this out. Figure out what you want to do, and then come home when it's like up. I'm like, okay, so. That money ran out, and it ended up being 2 months later living there. And we come home, and I'm like, I got to make money, dude. Like, we don't have any money coming in. This sucks. I hate this. I hate being broke. I'm on my mom's couch every day. I'd walk down from my childhood bedroom to my mom's couch. That was my office. And I ruined her couch that year. Just completely ruined it from sitting in it terribly all that whole year. I would send emails on LinkedIn to brands and businesses that were looking for full-time employees, and then I'd get on these interviews and I'd pitch them my company.
Sure.
And they all thought I was an idiot. And they're like, we're not looking for that. I'm like, no, but you should be, because you don't want to pay someone to come in here full time. Just pay our company to do this. And they're like, dude, you're like 19. What are you like? Right. You're 21 years old. What are you trying to pitch us right now? You know? And I remember it was a few months into that, every day going down for 6 days. It was just so depressing. I was depressed. Looking back, I was super depressed. I would send 100 a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No one would hit back. And the ones that did on the interviews would be like, that's insane. Like, what are you doing? And I was in a group interview once. And I'm pitching my company in a group interview.
Sure.
Like, this is insane. Like, it's quite psychopathic behavior. Looking back, I'm like, oh, these hiring managers were like, that guy needs to be put in home.
Right.
Like, get that guy out of here.
Right.
Cut that guy from the list. But I believed in it. I knew we could do it. We were picking off like one job a month. It'd be like max $1,000, making absolutely no money. And Lakers job posted.
Nice.
And I've told you guys that story, buying the key. I go buy the key. Yep. Months later, I get the job. I did that for 5 years, but simultaneously while I was at the job, which now I can talk about, which is great.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I can talk about this stuff now. This is fantastic. While I was at the job, the entire time I'm working on other stuff.
Of course.
I'm trying. Yeah, I know, crazy.
Hold on.
What? I was just trying to build, dude. Of
course.
And I think that
Trying to link and build.
if you're, this is funny. This is just something to let you guys know. If you're at a company right now, as much as they're going to tell you it's a family, and the Lakers did feel like a family. It's not. When you leave, that job will be posted the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Just be aware of that, and always remember to put yourself first in whatever situation it is that you're in. Because at the end of the day, while it might feel like a family, it's a business. And when I did leave, like, yeah, the next day that damn job was posted. Rightfully so.
Right.
That's just how it works. You need someone else to fill that job. So whatever situation is in, make sure you are always putting yourself first, no matter what the situation is. And I think I did a good job. I did my shit. I turn it in all my content. And when I'd go home, I would work on my other stuff. I would work on trying to build content for myself. And when TikTok happened, or when the pandemic happened, we were already on TikTok at school. Like me and my boy Kyle, we would go into the fraternity basement because we were living there in the summer, and we would make TikTok content in the basement at midnight when everyone else went to sleep.
Sure.
Because they said it was super weird. I remember, dude, I vividly remember this. If you had TikTok on your phone, people like, this dude's weird.
Really?
Bro. What are you on TikTok for? I swear to God, it was the craziest. It was a crazy time period. And we would go into the basement. We were trying to make videos, trying to figure this whole thing out. And when I came back to my mom's house after that had happened, got that Lakers job, I was still doing TikTok during the entire pandemic. And that's how my brand and everything that I'm doing, that's how it all started.
Yeah.
Because TikTok was crazy. I remember posting videos about like, look how cool this content is. Like, we're in the beach in Bali. I'm like, this stuff's going to do super well. It all flopped because it was all just like, look at me, look at me, look at me. But then I started to help people, and I had this like epiphany of like, oh my gosh, I have to provide value to people, and we'll be good. People will watch the videos. People will like share the stuff because it's value driven. So I posted one video one night, and I was like, if you're a creator, I'll review your stuff for free. And the next day I wake up, 300 DMs. I've never had more than like 2 DMs in my whole life at that time. 300. I'm like, oh my God, all these videos to review. And I'm like, well, we're not doing anything.
Right.
So I just started calling people. So I started to coach people, because now I coach people. It's part of my business. I started calling all these people, and they'd be like, yo, are you actually like the Lakers guy? Are you full of shit? I'm like, no, I am. I'd love to help you with your video. So all 300 of those people, I called most of them if they picked up, and I just started reviewing their stuff. And then then they DM me and be like, yo, it's COVID. I just made $1,000. I just made $2,000. And I'm like,
let's go.
I got something here. This is like amazing. All these people are learning from just these little 20-minute calls that we're having on social. And that was kind of the epiphany that I had of, I need to make value-driven content. And now, like hindsight 2020, but it's like educate, inspire, entertain. Those are like your 3 windows. I was educating for the most part. And I was in my mom's bathroom because I didn't have a cool place to film. My little room still had wrestling medals on the walls. It did not look like the place you wanted to film. And the bathroom was the only option. Sounded terrible, looked like shit, had a ring light, and it was just on my iPhone 11 or something.
You had your participation trophy or participation
They
medals.
gave tons
You
of
gotta
them.
put those up, dude.
Yeah,
You gotta put those
I
up.
had a ton of them. Lots of hundreds, honestly. It was a lot.
Hell yeah.
But that was and then I met Kostas during the pandemic. That wasn't a high five.
I thought it was.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't
never.
going for it.
Not yet.
Not yet. I met him during the pandemic off of TikTok, because there wasn't very many people in like photo video land making TikToks at that time, and he would always pop up. And then we started DMing on Instagram, and it's just a wrap ever since, dude.
wrap.
Then we moved in together.
And then Kostas was like, we were going to move in together. And I was like, I want a third roommate to be there. Remember, I was like so stuck because I lived with just one other guy before. I'm like, it's going to be weird. We're just going to like be in each other's rooms. Like, we need a third guy, dude.
Yeah.
And then we figured it out, man.
You guys literally did not know each other until you walked in the room.
I just trusted the process.
Just the process. I saw you in the garage and I was like, that guy seems cool. His girlfriend seems nice. Like, rock and roll. And then bada boom, bada bing, dude. Podcast
Isn't
started.
that so nuts? I remember when we had, before I throw it to you, I remember I had already done a pod for like 50 something episodes.
right.
And I had the stuff for the most part. I was like, I got one light, a slightly crappier light, and I have 2 mics. We just need to figure out a third light.
Wasn't I your first guest? Or was I not?
No, you were like 50 something. It's
Yeah,
all
not
good.
even close,
I mean, I had
dude.
done like 50 of them before that. It's all good.
You
I remember.
told me I was your first
You
ever
know what's funny?
guest.
We did them audio only. No, you weren't the first ever guest. I lied. You were a part of the show though, for sure. And it was audio.
I was on an episode.
We did do an episode.
Audio only. We didn't do any video, and maybe 100 people would tune in.
Hey, still something, dude.
It was funny though, because I remember being like, we gotta just keep going.
Yeah.
Just gotta keep going.
Just gotta ride this horse.
Just gotta ride this hour. It's
Yeah.
like 2
It's gonna
years
pop.
later, we're like,
It's
we
gonna pop.
still have 100 people.
We still ride the horse.
But people are still tuning in.
Right.
It's just so crazy to think that now we're sitting here 130. Yeah, right? This is
130 episodes.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, dude. If you add your 50 from your other one,
Come on.
you're at 180.
I'm popping
Rock
on
and roll,
podcast
dude.
land, dude.
Hell yeah.
Where, after school, what were the thoughts when you came back out here to LA?
So, yeah, I moved out here with my friend thinking I was just going to send it. And I was so nervous. I had no job. I had just like a room basically. And then
You had money from a freelance client, though, correct?
so I got, is basically right after school, the company I did internship with, they were like, we need a brand manifesto. We went to a couple ad agencies in Minneapolis. They all were like saying about 50 grand to make it. And I said, fuck that. I'll do it for 15. And they said, yeah. And I was like sick, but also freaking out.
15,000 at that time.
And I
was
had
like,
no money, dude. I had none.
That was
I
$1
just
million.
graduated college. In fact, I was negative. I had debt. And I remember I went into the meeting and I remember thinking like, I fucking nailed that meeting. So I went and bought myself AirPods, which is like the first, I wanted AirPods for so long. And I was like, dude, I'm going to get 15 grand. I went straight to the Best Buy on the way home from the meeting, got myself AirPods. I was so pumped. And then I made that video. I bought like a car for like 9 grand.
oh, wow, you balled.
I had as do as Lexus, dude. It was so broken, but it was still Lexus, you know? Put all my shit in it. I wanted that car because my brother had that car at one point, and I thought it was really cool, but it was way too short for me. So like I had to like open the sunroof, not like the sunroof itself, but like the cloth thing, so like my head wouldn't be hitting the ceiling.
Shut
Swear
up.
to God.
Chase is like 6'3".
And I
for those
put
listening.
all of my shit in it and drove that like that all the way to LA, which sucked. It was terrible. I mean, it was a really fun time, but the car itself sucked. And then moved here. I knew Kostas. I knew the guy I was living with. That was about it.
When I found out that Chase was gonna move out here,
We were pumped.
I was so stoked because I was like, I got like no friends out here
Right.
at all,
Right.
and like let alone none really doing the fucking camera stuff. And I was like stoked to have you out here.
We were stoked, dude. We were pumped. We made me, you, and Rob, dude, one of our first ever guests. We made a lot of videos together back in the day. But yeah, I was just like, and Labib. I'm just gonna make money freelancing, dude. Like it's gonna be great. Clients are just gonna come to the door. And that didn't happen at all. And I was just like alone trying to make money making videos, which was really lonely, honestly, because like I knew Kostas, but like if he was doing anything, I was like, kind of alone. And working was like just me by myself, and I didn't really have any clients. So like every day I just felt like I was falling behind if I wasn't like on a job, you know what I mean? But I said yes to basically everything I could. I like knocked on people's doors. I met people like at dog park and like filmed like a Kickstarter video for them. And I was like, okay, I'm like kind of floating, but like this isn't really working at all, you know? I remember at one point being like, I made $1,000 video, and I'm like, if I made one of those a week, I could make $52,000. And I really thought that was my ceiling in the whole video thing. And I'm like, and that's enough. I was like, I could 52. I'm like, that's fine. Like I could do that, And then I got a job because I just went online and I saw it like close to me basically. And there was an ad agency that was just like, honestly, it was like a position that's not what I wanted, but they were like, yeah, come in. I went in and they were just like, so you like, know how to edit pretty good? And I was like, yeah. But like they said, like, do you know After Effects? Do you know the shit? I didn't. But I remember, dude, going really quick flashback. I remember this in 8th grade. There was just like an art class, mostly it was pottery, but for whatever reason, there was a video week, I think. And the guy just gave us footage, and it was like, he kind of tried to trick people where like he would put something and then like, oh crap, put it back. But like in some takes were better than others, like clearly. And I hadn't really edited much before, but I remember everyone in the class edited it. And then he like picked the best one, and he like gave me, I won, obviously. And it gave me so much confidence my whole life. Like seriously, I was like, I'm naturally gifted. I'm great at this. So I went in there and I was like, I can do anything you want on the editing. Like I'll be fine. And so that day they
these
hired
commercial spots.
Yeah, and I didn't know where the footage was, and they were like, all right, here's a meeting. They gave me a creative brief. I pitched them the Sam Colder Zooms because that's like the only thing I knew how, and they were like, oh, that's kind of cool because they probably hadn't seen his videos. And I had that pack saved on my laptop, and so I went in there. They gave me the footage, and I was just like Zoom transitioning like these like Kona like big spots for Kona beer. And they liked them. And the executive creative director like came by and he was like, that was good. Like, come back tomorrow. So I just had like a 1-day contract, came back tomorrow. We did that for a week. And at the end of the week, they gave me like a month-long contract. And then I did month to month for like a year. And then
month to month work.
Like where every month I would be like, I hope they renew my contract. Like, but I was just editing. I was editing like Nike ads and I was getting really good at it. And I like that's when I started like learning taste. Like, oh, like pulling that clip or like wanting something to feel like that. That's so interesting. I never would have thought to make a video like that. And I remember like scootering home, just being like, because my car was just so shitty. Yeah, I was just scootering home, just being like, my mind was exploding of like, oh my God, like putting blur on that text. Like, why would you do that? But like, it felt kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was just interesting time. But then, COVID hit. And basically I was like, why am I just editing? I don't want to be doing this anymore. I wanted to like make stuff. And then I got the job that I currently have, which allowed me to learn a shit ton about production. And now I'm shooting stuff for 3 big car brands. And
Who
the
are
whole
the car
time,
brands?
Genesis, Kia, and Hyundai. And I've learned a ton about actual shooting, being on big sets and shit, which has been really, really cool. And all the while still finding time for passion projects, side projects, things that allow me to like exercise stuff. And right now I'm in probably the most challenging editing project I've ever been in my entire life. And it's been like 12 hours a day. It's been fucking brutal. And it's like the most intense feedback that is forcing me to be perfect on some things that I just am pretty uncomfortable with, honestly. Like I get so mad and it like takes me so like out of the present, but I'm really excited about it. And I do like a strong editing challenge. And I'm kind of realizing like, God, I almost want to lean into that a little bit. Like I just love something that's really hard on the edit. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Can you tell us what it's for?
Yeah, it's for Genesis. It's so layered and like it's unlike any video I've made. It's kind of like that puddle lamp one where like the hand's directing it. And that one is like so much simpler than the other ones. The other ones are like, there's just so much going on. There's a lot of VFX. There's a lot of like comping in stuff.
Are you doing
cleanup?
And
I'm doing everything.
You're doing it all.
But nuts to butts or whatever. This soup to nuts. That's what it is.
Nuts to butts. I was like,
yeah.
Are you using the Chase Totality?
Fuck yeah, I am, dude. Using the Chase Totality LUT pack to color, which saved me a ton of time, honestly, because I didn't have time to do. I'm doing that. I'm doing After Effects, like tons of cleanup, like literal, like comping stuff out, like putting stuff back in that's not there.
You told us they told you that like they're obviously being really meticulous on like the editing stuff, but they're like color's perfect.
They actually, I have not gotten really any color notes.
How's the sound?
The sound is great, dude. BFIGGY sound pack link below. Yeah, but it's been a journey, and I think one day I'll lean into like trying to direct from like an editing point of view. You know what I mean?
So I was going to ask you that
now.
right now. Where do you feel like this is fun? This is actually a really fun game. What do you feel like 2-3 years from now? What would you hope to be doing? This will be very fun to look back on.
God, it's so funny because
I don't like to play the 5-year game, but like a few years away, what would you hope is happening for Chase?
At my job, I get to do like B unit stuff on these big spots, and eventually I really want to be doing like just directing those things. And the more I think about directing spots or like even like writing a spot, I get like really excited. I'm like, I do feel like I have a natural talent for this, and I would be good at it if I like fully indulged in that. It's scary because it's a leap where it's like either I'm not on a salary at that point, right? It's like I'm either making a lot of money or like I'm not making any money. And that scares the shit out of me because I remember being freelance and being like, if I'm not working, I'm just falling behind. And so I think it might give me a ton of anxiety, but I got to do it at some point. And so 3 years from now, I could see myself in that leap, at least like kind of figuring out a whole directing path of sorts.
Is there no way to maybe be working maybe for a different company and be doing like the A unit stuff and have like maybe the stability still of like the full-time job with still being able to direct bigger spots?
Maybe. That'd be cool. I should look for that, honestly. But I also like kind of want to be remote. Oh,
yeah, dude.
It's like a bit of all of it.
We'd love to have you remote.
Yeah,
having
me
the
too.
three of us remote would be
fun,
sick.
dude. Kosty, tell me dude. You graduated college. I was there. We had a good time.
I graduated with absolutely no plan. And I thought, I was honestly looking back like pretty entitled without thinking it. I was just like, I'm Kostas. I've landed a couple shows.
No big deal.
It's going to work out.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember graduating and I had like messed around with producing and DJing my senior year of college. and being like, I'm gonna move home, not really gonna have a plan. I'll do some brand deals and I'm gonna become a famous DJ. And that was like my plan. And I DJ'd with my buddy Josh for about 2 years. And while I was doing that, I was doing some freelance photo video work and working part-time at a restaurant. And I remember I fucking hated the restaurant. It was Superba Food and Bread. It was a great restaurant, but like I was a host and I hated it. Did that and was doing like odd photo video jobs. And then I remember I landed my first ever retainer client. It was doing social media work for a gym called Show Up Fitness. And I remember I locked in $1,000 retainer client and I was like, that's a lot of money. I was also living at home at the time. And for as awesome as that was, being able to live at home in LA, save money on rent, I almost feel like it forced me, or not forced me, I almost feel like it caused me to not be as like go-getter as I could have been. And it allowed me to almost stay a little bit too comfortable, I think, because I was like, you know, I got to make a little bit of money, but I don't got to like pay rent like my mom and was buying groceries and stuff. So I think like looking back, not that I wish I had like gotten my own apartment. I just think it's interesting for me to think that I feel like I could have probably worked harder earlier on. Yeah. Then my mom bumped into an assistant for a real estate agent named Ben Bellack. She lived in the same apartment complex as us. They started talking and my mom brought up that I did like video content. And she was like, oh, my boss is actually looking for like a new video guy. And so I ended up like taking a meeting with him. He works at the agency and I walked into this office and I was like, this is pretty legit. And I was like, real estate's kind of sick. And this was, I want to say, about 2 years after graduating, and took the meeting. He liked what I said and he hired me. And so I started making YouTube content for him. I remember the first ever shoot, I was so nervous. It was at this like really nice, like $10 million house.
Not surprised.
Yeah. It's classic. It was at this super nice $10 million mansion. And it was a joint video between Ben and another guy who was on Not Selling Sunset. What's like the biggest...
Something Hollywood?
No. What's like the main real estate show?
Bravo?
Yeah, but what's the one?
Manhattan? The one with Ryan Serhant?
Yeah, so the guy was like on the LA version of, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name.
I can't remember.
I always just knew Selling Sunset.
Yeah. No. Anyways, so oh my God, I'm $1 million
listing.
$1 million listing.
Nice way to be at Chase.
So
no high five for you.
Anyways, so Ben was like, okay, this is gonna be a big video. I'm getting the guy from $1 Million Listing LA. I knew who he was, and I was like, oh my God. I pull up. I'm like, this is probably one of the nicest houses I've ever been at. Crazy view, like infinity pool. I'd never shot real estate. So then do it. The mic, I was telling you this yesterday. The mic was plugged into the headphone jack, not the mic jack. So the audio was all fucked up. It was like super echoey. I edited it, but he loved it. So then he was like, all right, like, let's do this.
Nice.
And
thank God
I
you have a
remember.
guy.
It's funny hearing Kostas' story because I remember all these things. I remember him being like, dude, the fucking microphone was in the headphone jack, you know?
And then I locked him in for like, I think it was like, I was going to do like $600 a video, but then I was like, okay, it was like, or maybe $800 a video. No, it was $2,400. But then I remember I like discounted it because I was like, this is our first time working together. So it's like $2,250 a month.
Sure.
And then kind of similar to you, I was like, if I can get another one of these, dude, right. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I'm rich.
And then granted, still at the time, I didn't have rent. So I was like, if I don't got rent and then I'm making like $4,500 a month, I'm like,
you're
I'm good.
rich. Yeah.
So started doing real estate, and then that was going really well. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, fuck, like, he's my only client. I'm still living at home, so I'm like, okay, but like, I don't know what's going to happen. I thought he was going to like drop me as a client, and ended up like, he ended up keeping me all through the pandemic. And then I was like, I don't really want to do real estate anymore. Like, it wasn't super creatively fulfilling, but I was also at a time doing like the social media content still. And I was like, man, like if I could just get like more brand deals or like get another retainer client, like I'll be good. I can like move out. And that was at the time when me and you started talking. I was like, okay, this pandemic is happening. And I was also talking to you because like we had met like right before the pandemic had happened. And then Yeah, so still did real estate, and then we ended up all moving in together. I remember about 6 months after we all moved in with each other, I got a DM from one of the guys in Loud Luxury, from Andrew.
Right.
Wow.
And
Remember that. We were right in your room,
yes,
remember?
dude.
well, actually, let me backtrack, because right before I got the DM from him, I got an opportunity to shoot a sunglasses commercial for this company called Not Water that my buddy Obi started. And I had wanted to get more into like filming proper commercials, but again, it kind of goes back to what I was alluding to earlier, is like I felt like I needed like the permission or the opportunity to actually go film it, as opposed to being like, fuck it, like I want to do this, I'm gonna make a spec ad for it. Anyways, so I had done a few like random Instagram shoots with him. He's like, I like your work, like I'm launching this sunglasses company, I'm pulling out like the whole 9 yards for it. And I was like, I'm fucking in. Looking back, I was like, definitely like underprepared, and it was like way bigger than anything I had done.
Yeah.
But like the set and the models and like the clothing, the stylist, like everything was like to the 9, and it was so dope. And I remember editing, and I remember Sam Colder, he talked about something where he was like, there's a few videos in my career that when I was like editing them, I felt as if this could take me to the next level. And I remember having that same feeling editing this spot. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I think this could lead to like more work. Anyways, I posted on social, and it ended up doing really well. And I'm pretty sure that's how Andrew found me, from that stuff. He's like, this guy's stuff is really good. Let's like bring him on tour.
Nice.
So then I end up going to EDC for the first show. You guys have heard this
We
story
packed
before.
his bag with him.
Right.
Held his hand.
Was so nervous again. First shoot, had never shot real estate, did the real estate stuff, got on base.
Right.
Had never shot a concert
There you
before,
go.
start going on tour.
Got on base.
Got on base.
Flash didn't work, but he got on base.
Got
Exactly.
on base, dude.
Anyways, so then,
Andrew's saying, dude, make sure your flash is
Yeah,
working.
Just make sure it works.
so I start touring at about, I want to say I was 26 at the time, and toured for a year and a half. And I remember just honestly about like 9 to 10 months in, I was like, I don't know how long I can do this for. I'm super burnt out, but I'm like too scared to quit because I don't know what's going to come next. So stuck it out for probably 6 to 8 months longer than like I should have. And then that was about a year and a half ago. But another thing, thinking about like, I don't know what's next. I specifically remember like early on in my career, and honestly up until recently, I've had this thought of like this client is almost forever. Like I remember like working with Ben and doing the real estate stuff and being like, holy shit, I'm going to be filming this for like 3 to 5 years or 6 years. Like it felt like this is what I was going to be doing for like the rest of my life in a way, but it's like, it's not a life sentence. It's a season. I heard that on TikTok recently.
Yeah,
I really
like
liked
that.
that.
Really like that.
Yeah.
Let's clip that.
And I think, yeah. And so, kind of forgot what I was going with this, but I remember doing real estate and being like, fuck, this is like what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And then I ended up getting out of it, and it turned into something like way cooler because I was doing the touring thing. And then I remember being sucked into the tour life, being like, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life.
Right.
But it wasn't. And I think sometimes like you can get caught up in being like, this feels like what I'm going to be doing for like the foreseeable future. And the whole time I was doing real estate and the Loud Luxury touring stuff. And even before then, doing social media stuff, doing brand deals. But similar to you, early on, I was like a light bulb clicked for you where you were like, if I make value driven content and I make content around what I want, like people will resonate with it. You also were making videos that like you didn't really resonate. It was like the frat style videos.
Yes.
And you were like, I don't want to do this because people are going to know me for this.
Yes.
And I remember my idea of like doing social media was like going out and getting content. And by content, I mean like, let me pose and like as if I was like a model or something. And then I would get frustrated when people would come up to me and be like, oh, you're an influencer, you're like a model. And I was like, no, like I do photo video. But I realized that like what I wanted to do wasn't being represented in like my content online. And it took me a while to realize like I got to pivot and I got to bring what I'm doing in like my actual freelance work into my content online. And then I started getting the certain gigs, and like that kind of changed a lot for me.
What are we up to at this exact moment for Kostas G?
For Kostas G, I actually had a very interesting epiphany the other day, and I realized that I do both photo and video, but most of what I would say like 90 to 95% of what I actually get paid to do is on the video side. And I've always been like, how the fuck am I going to like monetize photo? And I realized that like, I don't really want to like be a photographer that like necessarily gets hired for like fashion shoots or real estate shoots or really do the concert photography anymore. And I kind of want to take photography, and my favorite kind of photography is like the travel stuff. And so I think the only way I really want to monetize my photography to keep it really fun is like through prints.
Just have it be a thing.
Just have it be
So
a
it's just
thing.
for you. You're
Yes.
your own photography
Yes.
boss.
And so what I've been working on is just like doubling down on making videos for myself for social media. Still doing like, you know, some retainer clients here and there. But the main goal really is to put 100% or like 99% of my energy into short form video content for my personal brand on social media, working on the YouTube stuff and this podcast, and really taking this to a level of being able to say, hey, you know what? Like, I don't have to do any like freelance work if I don't want to. The projects that I'm going to work on are ones that like really creatively fulfill me. I can travel, go take photos, sell prints if I want to, and really work towards like that being my full-time thing.
I love it, dude.
What
I
about
love
you,
it.
Fig?
I'm similar with the podcast. Like this has been my pride and joy since we started it. I knew that we had something special even from episode 1. Like I had belief. I was like, this is going to be a household thing. Like I just know it. If we bet on this, this is going to be something. And I feel like just now we're at a place where when I was on the road with the team, I'd meet people in the cities that would be like, hey, I listened to that podcast. I'm like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You found us on the pod. This is nuts. And like
I would get the same thing for
concerts,
touring,
right?
Like anytime I'd be in the pit, I feel like at least one kid would come up to me, I love the podcast.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
sick.
let's fucking go. Right?
yeah, I'd meet really cool creatives that were sometimes on the team, sometimes for players. Like, yo, that pod you do is pretty cool. I'm like, that's so awesome that you're very talented at this. We're colleagues at this level, and it's not just because in the beginning I remember thinking it was just people getting into it, and now I know from talking to people in the DMs, I'm like, some people are just getting into it. Maybe they're littler rocks, but most of them they're rocks, dude.
Right.
They're big rocks. They're doing the damn thing. They're boulders. They've been doing this for a career for an extended period of time. And
I feel like that is because of the level of guests that we're also
Totally.
getting on. Like as we're leveling up, the quality of guest, the level at which these guests are at are like doing crazy things. And so I think that naturally draws in like a different type of listener.
yeah, pod, big focus. The other thing is when I left the Lakers, it wasn't just for funsies. I started a company with our other roommate, Sharif. It's called Blue Stripe Studios.
Nice.
So we're making ads for brands on social. Super excited about the stuff that we've got going on. We have another shoot with Nike next week, Nike Swim, which is going to be super fun. We're going down to San Diego for it. Very excited about that. We're going to North Carolina with another huge brand that I can't talk about yet because we're under NDA, but that'll be fun. And when it's out, I will be able to share it with you guys and we'll be able to talk about it. We are doing some really awesome stuff for brands. And I also have kind of taken on myself as a client, similar to you.
Nice.
We were talking about this. My eyes were completely open to social media from living with Kostas and just seeing like this could be another stream of revenue. And I just have to be me. I just have to post stuff that I like and it'll attract these brands. And as of like the last 2 months, it's crazy what happens when you post your stuff that you want to post because they've just been knocking. They've been coming in the door knocking, like sending me emails, and it's been very fun. We got an insane opportunity. We haven't told you about this. This is crazy. Bro, this is insane. I'm at the gym. I get an email from Almafi Jets and I go, are we going on private jets now?
It's a private jet company.
It's a private jet company.
Okay.
And they're like, we want to fly you to Vegas for a day and we're going to take you to dinner and take you to lunch. It's going to be like this huge thing. And I screenshot it. I sent it to Kostas. I'm like, bro, we're going to Vegas.
Nice.
And he doesn't read it. Comes in the house. He goes, you'll never believe this crazy opportunity that I just got.
Oh, nice.
We're both going to Vegas
Nice.
with a private jet company.
Nice.
Which is kind of crazy because I'm just doubling down on this media thing. I think that for those of you listening, I think this is the future. I think that creators are going to be the biggest companies in the world. I think that creator-led brands are going to be the entire thing. I think that they're going to even take over some of the biggest brands in the world that have been around for 25, 50 years. I think that that is where this is all going. And I think that people want to support the brands that they know. And I find myself even now trying to buy from people who I know of the founder.
Yeah.
I've like followed them. I see what they're talking about. They're in the weeds of it. You see the pros, the cons, like everything that they're dealing with. And that is my bet on the table, is that in 5-10 years, the biggest brands in the world will be led by people that started on YouTube. I think that is where podcasts, YouTubers, I think that's where this is all going. So that is my bet. And we're going to keep making awesome content for you guys here on YouTube with our podcast, as well as just traditional YouTube videos. If you've been following us here or you just found us, you're like, oh, you guys have been making YouTube videos. That's because of this bet that we think is going to happen. And I think it's really cool. Yeah. What advice, Kostas, would you give after hearing about all these stories that we've been sharing? What would you say?
I got 3 written down. The first is clarity is powerful. And I think that when you don't really know what it is you want to do, it's kind of hard to put your focus on like one thing because you don't know what it is you want to do. And if you can sit down and really be like, what is it that I want to do? If like, regardless of money or whatever, like I feel like nowadays you can figure out how to do what it is you want to do and make money from it. So I urge you guys to like sit down and really try to get some clarity with what it is you want to do. I think it's very powerful because I think once you get that clarity, a lot of like opportunities just start to show up in your life. So that's number one. The second one is that you're not as busy as you think or that you say you are.
Facts.
I remember when I was first starting out, I was like, I can't do this. I'm like too busy or whatever. And it's like, now you're just not making it a priority and you don't really want it bad enough. And like, you're just not putting in the effort that you need to get where you are. So you can always, I think, take more on. And I think when you do take more on, it forces you to then get more done.
Word.
I like that.
And then the last one,
give it to me,
is that it's very important to take care of your health.
Ooh.
I remember I got like slightly injured when I was like, I think like 23 or 24 at the gym. And I had some really gnarly like scapula pain and it really scared me from working out. And so I didn't work out for like 3 to 4 years. And then I've like now recently gotten back into it. And even with touring, it was like super hard to focus on my health because of like that particular lifestyle. But what I've noticed since stopping touring and taking my health a lot more seriously between working out and the stuff that I eat, it allows you to just bring your best self to work and your best self to whatever it is you are doing. So if you aren't taking your health seriously, like start as you get older. It's like you're going to start to feel it a little bit more. But I think that like health is super, super important.
Bro, I feel the same way. I know I started Sketchboy hours, but now I'm sleeping, dude.
Well, dude, Sketchboy hours, we can reverse it, dude. We
No,
can
no,
be
no.
like,
Sketch
I
morning
think
hours?
I think here's the deal. You can still rip Sketchboy hours.
Yeah.
You can still be up till 2-3 in the morning, which if duty calls, I will happily do. But I'm getting my 8, dude.
totally.
When do you go to bed nowadays?
No, it's like 10:30,
And you wake up at
6.
nice.
Yeah, I've been today. I slacked though,
Six
dude.
my ass.
Dude, today I've been beating him to the gym every single day, bro. Been
Been
beating him to the gym every single day.
I started getting up at 7:30 because I'm fostering
Really?
that dog. I wake up, I take the dog out, go straight to the fucking gym, dude. I did it once. I did it once, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow too.
I'm trying to figure it out because I'll tell you a few things. One, tried 5. That's definitely not it for your boy. Can't do that. Tried that for a day. I was like, this isn't it.
Yeah,
Tried one day.
It's way too early.
One day I was
Sun's
like,
got to be kind of up at
it was.
least.
I feel like I was up at like 1.
Right.
It's just because my body was thrown off. 6:15 feels good.
Okay.
If I can get to that gym by 6:45, it's like that's prime. The other thing too is I'm trying to optimize what I'm eating because if I go try to like, if I was drinking the caffeine right when I wake up, that's not good for the stomach.
No.
It just doesn't feel good. You got to eat something. So I'm treating this like a machine, trying to optimize that. One thing I will say though is you guys got to sleep. I think that if you stay up late, that's totally fine, but you got to get your 8, dude. Like
You do.
Don't be waking up at 8 o'clock, going to bed at midnight.
Right.
Or
Well, you
no,
still get 8.
that's 8. Don't be going to bed at like 2 don't be going to bed at 2 in the morning and waking up at 8.
Yeah, don't
You're
do
gonna
that.
just not feel great. Everything's gonna be out of whack. I will say I wish I got a job right after school.
Same.
Yeah.
Even though I was like, I'm an entrepreneur and I want to do this. This is going to be my thing. I should have just got paid to learn from somebody.
Yeah. Totally.
And that's exactly what the Lakers did. I learned from a great organization. I got in, I was like, okay, this is how their org chart is set up. This is how people report to one another. These are things that I don't like. These are things that I love.
Right.
And you get to take all of that into the things that you're doing. And dude, you don't know what you don't know. Thinking back when I was getting on these calls, I sound like a fool. My stuff sucked. My work wasn't great. And I'm trying to pitch these things that I wasn't even capable of pulling off in my, like, now looking back. So I wish that I got in even at an agency. I wish I got a production company and learned, like, I was like, okay, I want to be this camera guy. Learn from a guy who or a girl who does the camera stuff. Learn that right off the bat. Get in with someone who's great at what they do. Pick their brain. Don't be annoying. Do all the dirty work that they need you to do, and then you'll be able to learn from someone at the top of their game. Like, that's what I wish I would have done.
100%. I wish I had done that, because I kind of did that, but it took me like 6 months of just eating shit before I did that. I wish I had done that right away. And I loved my job, and I learned a ton, and I probably wouldn't change anything, but I could see myself enjoying maybe more production side right away, because then I would know more shit. Because I feel like once I started working at a job that made me shoot shit, like high level shit, I just got so much better, so much faster. I think it's really important to meet other people that are doing the same thing as you. And I think that helps you a lot. And I think, so this is 2 parts. I think that's really important to have that, but you also need to find time to just make your own shit that's kind of uninfluenced in a way. Like, we talked a lot about seeing stuff online and recreating it. I think that's an important way to learn skills, but like learning your own style and your own taste. I feel like I'm 29. I feel like I'm kind of figuring it out, but I'm still not totally sure, but I'm getting closer than I've been. And I think you get there by just making stuff. Honestly, you go out with your own idea, your own camera, you make it, and you figure it out in your head, and you're like, this feels good. This is not for anyone. And doing that a lot, I think, will give you your own style. And I think that will take you so far, because that's what anyone's ever looking for.
I also think, going off of that, a trap I think I fell into without even knowing it was just consuming so much of the same stuff that, like, your taste is just naturally drawn, I guess, to that style, and you start creating that style, and you're almost like a cookie cutter version or like a less good version of who you really like. Yeah. And I wish I would have consumed a lot more different types of style of content or movies or art in general. And I think I would have been, that forces you to be influenced from different influences as opposed to like everything looking the same.
100%.
Completely agree.
What was your second one though?
My second one was actually, I think it's obviously important to save money. And when I started making money, I was like so grateful that I had some money that I just didn't want to spend. I didn't want to lose that cushion. But I wish I had honestly invested in like more equipment younger, and like learn, or like even try renting equipment that's expensive just to like learn about it sooner. Because I feel like that really does help you when you have like some nice shit, instead of just like saving is important, but until you're like 26, who cares, you know? Like, invest in yourself.
I like that. Invest in yourself's a big one, dude. My last piece of advice for the rocks, I also love what you said about investing in yourself. I think that is like one of the most important things. I'd go back, I'd scream that in my face a few times. I would say to find like-minded people immediately. I think one of you said that, but it's like the forward progress. Don't be afraid of what other people are saying. Don't be afraid of what other people think, because none of it matters at the end of the day. The only thing that matters is your character. Yeah. What kind of rock you are. Like, if you know you close the lights off at night and you sit in bed, you're like, am I a good person? Am I like I'm not stealing stuff. Right. I'm doing work. I'm being a good friend. I'm being a good husband, brother, mother, whatever that thing is. I'm being a good person. Like, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Like, none of the likes, none of the comments, none of the videos that you post really at the end of the day matter. It's like, are you a good rock? If you can sleep with that at night and know like, yo, I'm a good person, you're gonna do good things in the world. Yeah. And I think that like you'll push the damn thing forward. You know, you'll leave it better than when you came. I love it. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into episode 130 of the 505 podcast. If you're still here, please drop us a comment, leave us a like, hit the sub button, subscribe to the newsletter, and we'll see you guys all next week. Peace.
Bye.